Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing all right. I'm not too bad, not too bad. Let me know your plans for the weekend. You're all okay? And thank you as always for the support. As it says back there, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, leave comments. All helps the channel grow. And boy, we are growing. We are growing very well. Let's look at the BBC again, shall we? Hugh Edwards is the name of the presenter that has been identified as being embroiled in this scandal, as named by his wife a couple of days ago. I don't want to go too far down that road. I don't want to comment on the specifics of that. You know, the guy apparently is in a mental hospital suffering from mental health, and he will apparently make comments on this case when he is able to at some point down the line. What interests me is what effects this will have on the BBC. For years, we've had a situation where trust in the BBC, trust in mainstream media actually, is eroding by the day, by the hour, because a lot of the time they either don't report things that should be reported, or they just plaster the airwaves with stuff that hides other things that we really need to know about, or they just outright lie. And they get caught out again and again and again. Perfect example, you look at what happened with Nigel Farage and the banks, and it was a case of who was lying, Coots or Nigel Farage, and all the evidence points to not being Nigel Farage. But who was the first organisation to report all this? The BBC. I asked a question on the channel a few days ago. I said, do you think the BBC are finished? It's a very valid question, because yet again it's another scandal. The poll had 6,986 votes, so thank you to all of you. And the answers were basically yes, no, it'll get swept under the carpet, or other. Please comment. 57% of you thought, yeah, they're finished. 5% thought, no, you're not finished. And 37% of you thought it'll get swept under the carpet. So more or less a slim majority of you think they are finished. It very much depends how they act and how they respond to this, I believe, in a not too distant future, really. I mean, let's have a look at what some of you are saying. Right, funny username, can't quite identify that. Yeah, I think that, if not the last one, this is the penultimate toid. They have shown themselves to be reprehensible, duplicitous, mendacious, and not deserving of a penny to the private sector with them. If their stuff is so good, they can sell it. Two Eyes in the Sky says, please, please lob your TV out the window. All you're doing is fueling the naughty person brigade, FFS, Rebel, FA once in your life. Kevin Robert Fraser, they better be finished. We cannot continue a taxpayer's expense at naughty person ridden political mouthpiece organisations such as the BBC. Whenever I say naughty person, I'm substituting that for either the P word or the N word. I don't want the algorithm to jump on me. David Hull, no, the Tories will make sure of that. It's the right-wing BBC and media that are keeping them in power. Kayla Saxon, are the BBC finished? Only when the idiots stop paying the licence. Piper, unfortunately not. Too many vested interests in the establishment and keeping it on live support. Terry Hunsaker, I never watched the BBC. Joanne Leckie, hope so. Dave Monday, it's been dead for years, it just didn't know it. Fossils. And another comment from the same, I think it's all just another distraction. I just wonder what distraction we'll use next. Unbelievable. There was a lot of talk about that, you know, what is it pushing away from? Amanda Duggan, the BBC is protected by the government, so will continue to exist. This latest sordid story will be covered up and replaced some other crisis they choose to use as a diversion. There's some people that comment and say this will be done and dusted and swept away inside of a week and there'll be something else. We'll wait and see. Or there's those that say it's a story for the ages. Lone Prepper, I hope they're finished. Good for nothing but corruption and dirty lying people. And I'm being polite. Ken Lee Souza, BBC are like the police, sometimes inept, but nevertheless needed. I'm cool. I can't believe they're finished. There are too many who find it impossible to accept the old standards the BBC achieved are over. They will dwell on its past achievements regardless of its present failures. Bobby Yearley simply says, I hope so. Glenn Hoff, not fit for purpose other than controlling weak-minded people. Well, this is the thing. We have a generation of people, don't we, who were bred to believe everything that they're told by the national broadcaster. Is that true anymore? Simon, I think it's a controlled demolition. They've started throwing people under the bus. They will put it under state control. It's clear they're pushing a full-on socialist agenda. And again, is this all distraction from that? David Johnson, not fit for purpose anymore, long past its sell-by date. Ben, crap anyway, in a Scouse accent. I'm no good at Scouse accents. Trev Cam, the BBC is still the most respected news source in the UK and most of the world. Fact, the Sun newspaper is just a comic for idiots. Yes, there's a few comments about that. Radar-ish, as it's government sponsored and the licence fee is just a stealth tax, it will be treated as any other government sleaze, and we will just get a token gesture and someone to take the fall. They'll then carry on as normal. York Media says the BBC need to be investigated for criminal offences. Hugh Edwards is hiding behind the Mental Health Act because he doesn't want to face up to what he's done. He must be investigated and charged, taken to court. He's making a mockery of the law, justice. The BBC are trying to cover up another scandal. This could not be allowed to happen. I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. I'm not going to say my actual thoughts on this and a theory about what happened behind the scenes, but I really do believe there's more to this. Knights Templar. It's one big network of naughty people, there's that P word again, covering each other's back, and to think we pay 158 quid each year for this. Joan Thomas, they get too much power behind them. Capita, Guardian, government, they all will ride the storm. You tell the public stop buying the TV licence. Bazza, they don't tell the truth. Ben, blatantly brainwashing channel is on life support via the licence fee. Once enough people wake up to them, it's bye-bye. Batty. The Brussels Broadcasting Company has been going downhill for years, more and more. People have stopped paying for a TV licence. This is why the BBC have upped the fools that come to your door to try and force people to do so. I can say happily, I've not had one for 12 years. Rob Shaw, I do hope so. Bunch of tinnocks. You got to know Butcher's back slang to realise what I just said there. Two good productions. The state propaganda arm will continue like nothing ever before. So there's a cross section of comments there. Very much all of the same vein, apart from a couple. Finished, no trust, nada. Time for a clean broom to sweep it all out of the way. As I said, I think there's more to this. I think more's going to come out over days, weeks, months. But I think this is the beginning of the end. It can't go on for much longer. I asked the question, people pay a licence to fund all this crap every single year. Why carry on doing that? Anyway, I'm off. I'll see you shortly with one more. And thank you very much for the comments, the support and everything else. Toodaloo.